Giant Squid, written by Mary M. Cerula and Clyde F. E. Roper. Searching for a sea monster. A creature of colossal size. Without warning, a gigantic twisting tentacle burst out of a dark sea. As flexible as a human hand, it snatches a sailor from the deck of his ship. A single scream pierces the night. The sailor and the creature are gone. When the seas were still largely uncharted, sailors and fishermen told stories like this about a mythic monster of the deep. Norwegian sailors described a spider-like creature as big as an island. Its long arms could wrap around the masts of a ship and drag it to the bottom of the ocean. Or the monster could create a gigantic whirlpool as it dove back into the depths, pulling the ship down with it. Sailors and storytellers called the creature the Kraken. Drawings of this mysterious beast bore a strong resemblance to what we now know as the giant squid. In 1874, a newspaper account of an actual encounter between a ship's crew and a giant sea creature inspired the French author Jules Verne to revise the book he was writing. As the paper reported, a sea captain claimed that he had ordered his crew to fire on a many-armed sea monster, which he believed was trying to climb aboard his ship. Riddled with rifle bullets and weighed down by cannonballs, the beast finally sank beneath the waves. Verne put this tale to work in his fiction and attacked on Captain Nemo and the crew of the Nautilus by a squid of colossal size became the most famous scene in Verne's book, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Early clues. Eventually, these bizarre creatures, or at least evidence of them, began to show up in more than just seafarers' tales. In the 1700s and 1800s, many captains of whaling ships were amateur naturalists, people who study nature. They recorded what they observed in their ship's logs. Some of these captains hunted sperm whales, the largest toothed whales that ever lived. When they hauled their catch on board, they often noticed strange circular scars on the whale's head and jaws. These scars suggested a fierce wrestling match with some enormous beast. But what creature could take on a 70-ton whale? Inside the stomachs of the whales was another mystery. Waxy balls of a smelly substance called ambergris. These oily lumps are made by the digestive juices of whales. Ambergris coats any hard object a whale swallows that could irritate its stomach. At the center of the lumps, sailors found what looked like large bird beaks. Observant whaling captains finally figured out the source of both the round scars and the sharp beaks. They came from squids. The sailors had eaten many types of small squids, which were plentiful in the sea. They knew that a squid has powerful suction cups on its arms and tentacles and a sharp beak inside its mouth. As it battled the whale, a very large squid could have wrapped its arms around the whale's jaws to try to fight off its attacker and escape. The many beaks inside the sperm whale's stomachs revealed that most squids lost the fight. The largest beaks, the size of a man's fist, and the round scars as big as hockey pucks could have come only from giant squid. Where would a sperm whale and a giant squid meet? Whaling captains harpooned sperm whales when these marine mammals came to the surface to breathe. Little did the sailors know then that the whales regularly dive down to 4,000 feet, 1,200 meters, or even deeper. It's there in the deep ocean that the sperm whales encounter their favorite meal, the giant squid. As you see at the top of this page, you have a giant squid's beak, which is made of chitin and is similar to crab and lobster shells. On the right there are round scars embedded in a sperm whale's soft skin, which revealed that the giant squid suckers were rimmed with small, sharp teeth. Occasionally, a dying giant squid was hauled up in a fishing net, or pieces of giant squid would wash ashore. In 1873, Newfoundland fishermen caught what they called the sea monster and showed it to their local clergyman, the Reverend Moses Harvey. In those days, ministers often served as the local experts on scientific as well as spiritual matters. The Reverend Harvey persuaded the fishermen to give him the remains of the squid, which he draped over a bathtub and put on display. It was the first complete giant squid specimen known to science. On the left there in the photo, the Reverend Moses Harvey put his sea monster on display by carefully draping it over a bathtub to show off its many arms and tentacles. Why do giant squids sometimes wash up on shore? Scientists know that sometimes deep, cold ocean currents change their course, moving closer to the surface. Animals that normally live in the depths, including giant squid, may be transported by wayward currents into new territory, often to warmer, shallower water closer to land. There, the dramatic differences in water temperature can kill deep-sea animals. Scientists suspect that these conditions existed at the times when dead giant squid washed ashore off the eastern coast of Canada. So here is a drawing of a giant squid that washed up on shore. On the bottom there, you see in 1984 a giant squid that washed up on shore in New Zealand. You can see, looking at that person, how actually large this squid was. Pretty amazing. How many giant squid are there and how do we know? Researchers have estimated the populations of giant squid by counting the number of giant squid beaks found inside sperm whales' stomachs. The whales can't digest hard objects, so the beaks are usually passed out of the whales in about a week, encased in ambergris. One sperm whale may eat as many as 20,000 squids a week. Of those, perhaps only 3 are giants. So one sperm whale may devour up to 150 giant squid a year. It's estimated that there are at least 400,000 sperm whales living in all the world's oceans. Some whale biologists think there may be more than 1 million. So how many giant squid do all these whales eat each year? That's 60 million giant squid. Of course, not all giant squid are eaten by sperm whales, so there could be many more millions of giant squid hiding deep in the world's oceans.